Hey everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to VFR TBM Around the World series. We've got our 850 here in Moba, Africa. So we are getting ready to depart. We're going to be looking at about 502 nautical miles today. Basically going through what they're saying is the Great Lakes, the African Great Lakes region. So we're going to make a little bit more distance. You can see not quite an additional 100 miles added to where we're at here. But let's, as always, get moving. Get our stuff up here. Turn things on. Radios, this, that, whatever. Get our bleeds going. And for the most part, I think that gets a lot of what we need. Get our starter on. Get moving. I forgot to turn those on last time early enough where I was like, what's happening? Nothing was happening. I'm just not flipping all the switches. And, you know, that does things to you. So, bum, bum, bum. All right. And we go flight plan, menu, import from the file. We have a few waypoints basically taking us around the lakes, so nothing specific beyond that. So you can see we've got 4 that are going to take us in. Got GPS. Haven't turned on our pitos. We can now get this fully up. Get our flaps down, get our trim up. All is wondrous. All right, starter off, ignition, there we go. Taxi lights on. So we've got about 47 nautical miles to the first location. You can see we're sitting at 5,620 feet. So we're going to take ourselves up to, oh, wait. Obviously, that's not our height. What am I doing? Okay. I'm like, something is off. So we'll go up to 7,500. I think we do... Nah, I don't know that we go down. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, we do not want to go up at 3,000 feet. That would be pretty incredible. So we're not going to do that. We'll get that turned on. Flight director. Whoop. Not ready yet. So we're good to go. We should be set with SayIntentions. We are. Let's get things turned on. Oops. Moba Center, November 191 Mike Alpha, requesting VFR at 7,500. We'll just leave it at that. I forget where I'm going. Alright, so we've got that. We are good.
November 1 Mike Alpha, cleared VFR, 7,500.
7,500, November 191 Mike Alpha. Alright, and they're sending us to CTAF then. In theory, we've got a squawk code, so we'll get that in. That should make everybody happy. But 47 miles. We need to get airborne before we can do anything. Yeah, runway's behind me, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, I'm like, is it going to go? It is. So literally the points I could start were just along the runway edge. So yeah, when I pulled off here, I was like, well,
runway
there must be somewhere that I missed. No, not really. But yeah, this is kind of going to be going away from where we need to be. But I think overall, this will be better because it'll give us a little bit of time to take off. It's not as... Mountain doesn't appear as imminent there. So, but obviously a pretty sharp turn, as you can see from the green indicators turning to the left. Oh, those are cars. That's right. There's like a roadway kind of here, but they don't actually hit the roadway. Man, we are struggling to gain airspeed here. What the heck? I am full throttle, but alright. Come on. 80 we should have no problem. I mean, I get we're at 5,600 feet, so things are a little bit lower, but alright, we're gonna get gear up. That'll help us accelerate. We'll get flaps up. That will also help us accelerate. We'll get yaw damper. We'll get there. We'll get there. And we should, hopefully, start climbing. So there we go. Now we're getting a little closer to the 900, which we're going to need, because there's a hill rising in front of us there. So let us go back. Terrain. We're going to go out again. But yeah, you can see, like, once we get out of the valley here, or whatever it is, things will change. And then we'll be able to go down. So, let's go ahead and see if Sarah can load things up. Sarah, could you please go ahead and load VFR TBM Around the World Leg 55, please?
Absolutely. Loading VFR TBM Around the World, Leg 55. Our first stop is Lake Rukwa, which is about 86 kilometers away on a heading of 310. Get ready for some stunning views as we head there.
All right, we will do that, Sarah. That will be exciting. All right. So, what we have, our tour of the African Great Lakes region continues. Head northwest from Moba to the south shore of Lake Rukwa. So, surprisingly, that's what we heard. So let's, let's go in. All right, we clearly need to go higher. I don't know if we need to go that high, but we're gonna get up there, and I don't know, we're heading right at the peak. Really? Like, that's where it wants to go? Can I climb faster? I don't know. So I have not gone to the TBM speed yet, but clearly a little bit challenging. I think we've got clear skies. But yeah, we literally just need to get over this, and then we can deal with things after that. But climbing at 1,300 is not too bad, because yeah, we've added about another 1,000. The red is starting to shrink. Sadly, it's not shrinking fully, but yeah, I'm pretty comfortable unless it suddenly decides it's offline a little bit. But obviously, yes, we're not crossing the peak. Alright, so we're gonna lower this to 9,500. And honestly, we're probably just gonna, let's see, put ourselves back here because I think we're okay. And then we can go back down to, I don't know, we'll put it at 4,500 maybe? I don't know. We'll put it at 6,500. see where that takes us. But all right, so at this point, we're going to back off a bit, and we're going to go to our TBM setting. We just want to be careful not to redline, or especially blow past the red line. All right, that's a bit strong, so let's back that off. That should get us in a pretty good position. All right, so now we can descend and gain some distance here, because we're going to speed up quite a bit. We're going to probably blow past 230 knots. Obviously don't want to get past about 260, and at 1400 we certainly can. But we're down to 33 miles. So yeah, not a lot of narrative. Obviously, you know, Sarah's already kind of locked in, so we'll see what she says. I guess we're still 1,500 feet above those, which seems unlikely. There they go. They're finally appearing. But yes, we should be good. And we'll just go out, because obviously if suddenly things start coming up, we'll want to be aware of that, but I think we're okay. So let's just take a quick look. Where are we? 3,000. All right, so we're going to go to 5,500. That should work. And once again, like right as we hit 7,000, if we're not starting to see green blooming ahead of, we are seeing a little bit here, so it might be too low, because there is, in theory, kind of a rocky border along the western edge of the lakes, which is what we're going to be doing. Now, again, the map, you can see where true north is, so we're, you know, while it looks like we're heading north, because obviously it rotates there, yeah, we might need to rise up, but we'll see what things look like, because, yeah, there is a ridge, I think, in between this and another lake. We'll probably stick together and just chat for a little bit here, given we've only got like 20 miles, and that'll happen in 5 minutes or less. We'll hear what she has to say about Lake Rukwa, and then she can pronounce the next lake, because I'm probably going to be awful at it. So, I'm probably going to go ahead, set this at 6,500, and now we're going to just go back. So, sorry about the yo-yo, but clearly we've introduced a lot of red. So we don't want to be doing that. And I think it was just appearing, because, yeah, it's shrinking already. And again, that's 500 to 0. So where it's shrinking, obviously, we're already 500 feet ahead. So if we can get that to shrink a little bit, all will be good. And it looks like we are starting to get it to compress down. We've still got 300 or 400 feet to go. I'm hopeful. I don't know, just the part I need to shrink, which is the northern side of it, is not. But the rest of it is getting smaller. So again, I'm sure we're at a few hundred feet above. We'll take a look when we're headed there. We might have to adjust a little bit, but we've got some distance, because you can see that is a 50-mile ring. It's going to be 25, 30 miles away. The waypoint is a little bit over Lake Rukwa, so we are going to be heading there. All right, we're leveling out, so we're speeding up a tiny bit. We were at 220. We're now at 222. You know, sometimes I get up to 225. It just depends on what the winds are, and they're kind of coming at us from that direction. Which probably means we'll be flying straight into a headwind when we turn to the left. But yeah, definitely a higher location where we departed. So still not a leg with any specific waypoints where it's like, hey, you're seeing this point of interest. So that's really more the thing. I mean, they have waypoints, but they're not points of interest per se, other than giant lakes. So I'm hoping. We've had power problems this morning at home, so it's been a little challenging. I was, hesitant because, yesterday my plan was I'm going to fly this. Power, knock on wood, has been very, very stable here since we've moved here over a year ago. I think we've had 2 in total actual power outages for any length of time. And we had 2 this morning. I mean, they were only about 5 minutes each, but yeah, they happened a little bit early and then right about 8 o'clock, which is about when I was like, yeah, we're going to get flying. So, it's now after 9:30. Took me a little bit to get set up, had to catch up with some things at work, so forth. But once again, we can get ourselves airborne and going. So we're going from Tanzania, which is where Mbeya was at, through the Democratic Republic of Congo and up to Burundi. So we've got 3 countries that we'll be touching at least today. So, and once we make the turn, we'll get the next little bit of the narrative. It's kind of, I think it actually is there are 2 sentences. But the first one's, I guess, 3. Because we did have our tour of the African Great Lakes region continues. That was a sentence. And then we have a relatively long second sentence, and then a tiny short one at the end. So, anyway, we'll see. But I think it looks like maybe we'll be threading the needle on the high peaks, but Sarah should be speaking shortly. Making sure, yep, flaps up, wheels up. Couldn't be going 225 if we didn't, but hey, so we'll set ourselves
Look
for
out at our
the
12
outlook.
o'clock, just 5 kilometers ahead. There's Lake Rukwa. This lake is one of Tanzania's lesser-known gems, stretching about 180 kilometers long and up to 32 kilometers wide during the rainy season. It's a shallow, alkaline lake, and if you squint, you might spot flocks of flamingos and pelicans hanging out like they're at an exclusive bird spa. Lake Rukwa was first documented by European explorers in the mid-19th century, and it's famous for its shifting shoreline. Sometimes it grows, sometimes it shrinks, kind of like my enthusiasm for exercise. The area is also known for its crocodile population, so if you ever wanted to see a real-life dinosaur, this is your chance. Next up on our tour is Lake Tanganyika. To get there, just keep us on a heading of 275 for 211 kilometers.
All right, so Lake Tanganyika is kind of what I was thinking it was, but I'm like, nah, let's hear her say it, because it could have been like Tangan, I don't know, Tanganyika. So, but yes, so the next part of the narrative, then head west to Lake Tanganyika, which marks the border between Tanzania and the DRC. Okay, and then the sentence will continue a little bit more after that, but then basically we'll finish up at the second waypoint, even though there's a couple more, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But enjoy the view. Again, I may need to rise up. I'll try to worry about that and not get us to crash, because that would be unpleasant. But I will see you in about half an hour.
Mbala traffic, Legacy 0 Alpha X-ray taxiing to runway 30, Mbala.
at our 1 o'clock, just 4 kilometers away, you'll see the shimmering expanse of Lake Tanganyika. This is not just any lake, it's the longest freshwater lake in the world, stretching over 673 kilometers. And it's also the second deepest, plunging down to a mind-boggling 1,470 meters. Discovered by European explorers Richard Burton and John Speke in 1858, Lake Tanganyika is so old that some scientists think it's up to 20 million years young. Talk about aging gracefully. The lake is home to hundreds of species of fish, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth, making it a favorite for biologists and, let's be honest, fish with commitment issues. Local legend even claims there's a mysterious creature lurking in its depths. Move over, Loch Ness Monster. Our next stop is Moba, which is 120 kilometers away.
All right. So, very fascinating information about this lake. I'm pretty sure, it's appeared in, like, I don't know, that Livingston or whatever, the famous African explorers had been here or whatever, but I somehow heard it. Maybe, it was in the Tarzan shows or something. So, but pretty cool information about it. So we're now basically going to finish up. We've got 2 more waypoints, but they're basically just along the western shore of the lake. So we're basically kind of going that route. It looks like we're going to stay clear of the red area there, I hope. So we'll obviously, keep an eye on things as we get closer. It looks like the line stays offshore. I don't know, the plane's definitely doing some swinging back and forth, so it's hard to tell. But we will proceed through there and then, get to that. But I've got 2 towns that were nearby. They're both past the waypoint, so it's not things we'll have flown over before we get to them. The first one's pretty far away. You probably aren't even going to be able to see it. It's probably going to report it right there. And that basically, I think, is that area that sticks out a little bit. And then we're going to turn a little bit to the left, a few degrees, continue on to waypoint 4. That is a bigger city that looks like it's pretty close to where things need to be. And we should be good there, and then we've got a pretty long leg to get to the airport. So, not much to share or talk about, so I may just let her do her thing as we get to each waypoint, and I'll just kind of fly in the background. If I feel there's something to talk about, we'll certainly do that. Maybe if she mentions something interesting. But we've got about 61 miles, so it's, a shorter leg than the 129 it took us to go from Lake Rukwa over to Tanganyika. But we'll be gone for a bit, but we probably have a good hour of flying time before we're fully done. Looks like Navigraph is showing about 294 miles to our final destination. So we'll see. Probably a little over an hour in that case. And we'll get there when we get there. So enjoy the view, and I'll, again, try to keep us from hitting things.
At our 11 o'clock, just 6 kilometers away, you'll spot the town of Moba. Nestled on the western shore of Lake Tanganyika, Moba is known for its dramatic lakeside views and its role as a hub for fishing and agriculture in the region. This area has seen its share of history, especially during the Congo Wars in the late 20th century, when it became a strategic location. The town is also a gateway for exploring the surrounding mountains and forests, which are home to some pretty adventurous, wildlife-think monkeys that are way too comfortable with stealing snacks. Moba might not be on every tourist's bucket list, but it's definitely a spot that tells stories of resilience and survival.
And we're coming upon the last waypoint. We're then turning. We're going to be heading over that area there. We'll see, you know, if I need to climb again or if we might clear it. It looks like we might have a shot, but Sarah should be giving us a little bit of info about a pretty large city that we will be turning towards. It's off to the right. Can't really see it here at all.
At our 11 o'clock, just 5 kilometers away, is Kalemei. This lakeside city, perched on the western shore of Lake Tanganyika, was founded in 1891 as a military post by Belgian colonialists. It quickly grew into a key port and railway hub, connecting the lake's bustling trade routes with the heart of the Congo. During World War I, Kalemie was even the site of naval battles. Yes, naval battles on a lake. The city is famous for its palm-lined beaches and the old colonial-era train station, which looks like it could be the set for a vintage adventure movie. If you listen closely, you might just hear the echoes of steamboat whistles and the clatter of trains from a bygone era. And with that, we've reached the end of our tour. Today, we soared over Lake Rukwa, marveled at the ancient depths of Lake Tanganyika, spotted the lakeside town of Moba, and now Kalemei.
So there it is. I'm surprised we couldn't see it, but there it sits. We've got 160 miles, or about 40 minutes, till we get to the point where we can land. And then we will be done here with leg 55, which gets us really close to about a quarter of the journey, which is crazy when we think about it. We have so much more left to go. So definitely a lot available to see. If you haven't yet subscribed or liked the video, that will definitely help and would be greatly appreciated. So hoping you will do that and just subscribe to continue to easily find things like this on the channel. I will see you as we get closer to landing. All right, we are getting close. Looks like the runway is 35 here, so we're going to switch back to heading mode and start to run over this way. Oops. That should give me a good alignment. We'll go ahead and put the landing down. All right, that's good. Sarah, go ahead and tell us about Bujumbura.
Bujumbura is the largest city and former capital of Burundi, located on the northeastern shore of Lake Tanganyika. It was established as a military post by the Germans in 1899 during the colonial era, and later became the administrative center under Belgian rule. The city is known for its lively markets, such as the Central Market, and its proximity to beautiful beaches along Lake Tanganyika. Bujumbura has played a significant role in Burundi's history, serving as the country's main port and economic hub.
All right, so we're gonna turn over here. There should be a runway somewhere in view. Yeah, I think it's literally right there. Because, yeah, just off the lake shore is what we want. So we're gonna lower this down, and we're gonna start to descend. Gonna drop things down, slow ourselves down. Again, we'll get ourselves turned over here and get ourselves aligned a little bit better onto the heading we need. So, 1,000 feet. Just trying to kind of pay attention to where we're at. Okay. So we are 10 miles away. Now we're going to align here, and hopefully things will be pretty good and get us kind of where we need to be. Turn a little bit that way. All right, get ourselves down again. We'll lower our gear. That obviously takes a little bit. 8 miles out. 155 knots. And we're going to turn off our autopilot and get ourselves toward the airport. But a lot of lakes and so forth. So I did peek ahead while we were flying. We've got another 10 or 15 legs, 10 for sure, where there's perhaps not much, and I'd say 60% of them are just point-to-point flights still. So we've still got a good bit of that ahead of us. So just keep that in mind. All right, we don't want to get too low because we were at like 500 feet or 300 feet. All right, and we'll get our final flaps down. And that will slough off some speed here. 5 miles out, though, so we've got a ways to go. We don't want to be super slow. But yeah, that has brought us up, which is probably not bad. We've got a cleaner view here of the runway.
Runway 35. Caution, caution.
Okay, sure. Why? I always love that. Caution, caution. So, pretty straight in, pretty easy to take off. I think the next leg, again, we kind of finish off, I would say finish off lakes next time. So we've still got some more, including kind of a large round one instead of a bunch of short, long ones.
500.
So we've got that, but then, you know, we're heading over to Eastern Africa, and I think it was like leg 64 gets us into Qatar, or Qatar, depending how you choose to say it, but so I think those are the lights. Name's escaping me. The P, I know that, but so I think we are a little high. Maybe they're not. You know, we are high, so there's not really a chance of landing where we need. All right, nice. Get the flaps up. And then we'll exit here. But yeah, just not much around, as always, so we'll just kind of park in the grass, put our parking brake on, and get ourselves shut down. Alright, so here we are. I guess there are some things. Didn't look like it, because I just saw this, and I'm like, oh, I can exit here. Well, it looks like there's a line, so, I mean, in theory, was somewhere to go. But yeah, so we're here in Burundi. I'm sure we'll be leaving Burundi pretty quickly when we take off next time. But once again, another leg behind us. Just wish there was a little bit more to enjoy from a sightseeing standpoint in Africa, but the world is what the world is. If you have not liked or subscribed, I know I asked a little bit later at the last waypoint if you'd please consider doing that. Similarly, if you haven't liked, really a beneficial thing to the channel as we try to continue to grow. And I will see you next time.